We are all dictators. Last year, the minuscule world of Acton collapsed, albeit only for a short while. The guides only assembled the Standards Committee a short while before they decided to leave the studio and let us fix the problem. I was chosen to be a part of this committee, and it was our job to create a new contract that will guide our community back to intentionality. Barely a day or two after the assembly of the committee, we were spending upwards of 5 hours per day in meetings. We soon introduced an honor code versus Eagle Butt contract, as well as an honor code violation process and a few other processes. But we didn't stop here. Now we were taking charge of who, in the last 2 weeks, had committed an honor code violation large enough to still be viable a few weeks after the fact. We went down the list of people in the class and discussed them one by one. Some we immediately dismissed, but others were spoken of for a long time. We came up with the lists of people who committed violations, and a separate list for people who required warnings. We announced to the class that we had our list, but we wouldn't be sharing it just yet. The violators had to, without being prompted, confess publicly to the class, specifically stating what they had done and how they would do better in the future. Many people stood up and spoke to the class, apologizing. Most had done nothing significant. We waited. The deadline was nearing, and yet only a few violators had spoken up. The deadline passed, and the time to confront people was nearing. The time had come. Nobody wanted to do the dreaded task of telling the violator what he had done. What am I here for?" he said. "Well, we needed to tell you something. We stumbled over our words. They wouldn't come out. Somebody would start speaking and then pawn the job off on somebody else. Finally, someone just spat it out. You've committed an honor code violation. You had the chance to apologize, and you didn't take it." We told him what the infringement was and explained that we had proof. Multiple people on separate occasions accusing of the same thing, cheating or lying, possibly, and in many cases, both. It was over. We had told him. He was angry. "This is unfair, and I didn't do it," to pour from his mouth. "We apologize. I'm really sorry, but we can't make exceptions, no matter who you are." Soon, we were openly disliked by much of the class. We couldn't understand why they hated us so much. We were just part of the class, and we were just trying to help, but they resented us for it. To them, we were the evil dictators. We were protected by our knowledge and our influence. We had stabbed our friends in the back. Some began to threaten and slander us. They were angry. "It's so unfair how the council chose people to be on the committee. I think it would have been better if anybody could have been on the committee if they wanted to. They're just wasting their time in stupid meetings. I heard they spent an entire hour choosing the font for their documents. We used our power to create a new rule. I will respect the council or other leaders' decisions. I will not yell at, insult, or threaten them." The guides returned. Mere weeks later, our dictatorship was ended. We had been asked to step down. As the weeks and months passed, we began to see their side of the story, how in their eyes we had been spying and gossiping. We hadn't taken any of their input, and they hadn't been able to be a part of the deciding process. We had learned a lesson, and we had learned it through experience, not from a textbook.